Hello, welcome to Dungeon Dwellers Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. This is our last review of the day. I'm probably not going to upload this tonight because I'm fucking tired and this is the second take. So hopefully let's get this done. So this is my review of the horror superhero movie, Faust, Love of the Damned. Basically this movie is based off a comic book that came out in 1987. Where like you have this superhero who's like makes a deal with the devil and makes a deal with the devil for power and becomes this superhero kind of, well, he's more like an anti-hero kind of called Faust. It was created by these two guys, Tim Vigil and David Quinn. David Quinn wrote the screenplay for this movie. People theorize that and I should mention the comic book was banned in Canada, which was pretty base because there's a lot of satanic shit in this movie, and England also. Yeah, so it's like a lot of people think that Spawn ripped off the Faust comic book. Honestly, looking at I looked at some images of the Faust comic book. It looks like he ripped off the Crow, so it's like, who gives a shit really? Like comic books, like they everybody loves to rip off each other. All that matters is this good, right? Which honestly, it's not as good as The Crow, but people argue. I would say there is an argument to be made that it is better than Spawn, even though I like Spawn. I like Spawn better than this, honestly. I actually hated this movie the first time I watched it. I first watched it after I saw the Red Letter Media review. I paid $30 for this piece of shit. The director, David Yuzna, is from Spain. Or was it? No, he wasn't he Puerto Rican? I can't fucking remember. There's a lot of Spanish actors in here, a lot of European actors. The star of the movie, who plays John Jaspers, who's the guy who makes the deal with the devil, is played by Mark Frost, who's a British actor. It's not the guy, the co-creator of fucking Twin Peaks. Don't look, like, even, like, I looked up Faust, Love of the Damned, on, like, Bing, and it shows, like, a picture of the fucking novelist, like, Mark Frost, who co-directed Twin Peaks, not co-directed, co-created. It's like, what the fuck, Bing? You're a piece of shit. And M, or Mephistopheles, however you pronounce his name, is played by I'm looking here, Andrew Divoff. And you have Jeffrey Combs as some detective, Italian last name, detective with Italian last name, obviously not played by Italian actor. Jeffrey Combs, who's was the Reanimator. He was in a bunch of 90s stuff. Yeah, he's a good actor. He's probably too good for this. But and you have Isabel Brook as Dr. J. DeCamp, who she's in a lot of fucking movies. I tried to look up if this chick is actually American, because she sounds like a European actor doing trying their best at doing American accents, which a lot of the cast in this movie are like foreigners, and it's like it's supposed to take place in New York, right? At least that's what it looks like it's supposed to take place. But there's a lot of Spanish actors or European actors, and there's like bad voiceover over like actors. It's like, oh my god, dude. It's like watching Italian Western, which I like Italian Westerns, but I gave them leeway because it's like the 60s and who gives a shit. But here it's like I thought this looked like this was shot in like 97 or 98. This movie came out in 2000. It's like, holy fuck, dude. So what makes this movie famous is the people who did the special effects for Society did the special effects for this movie, which are super gross. There's like a scene where the M's girlfriend, who's played by some Spanish actress, who's pretty hot in the movie. I forget her name. I think it's like Claire something. there's one scene where she turns into a blob monster with big tits and big ass, and it's like, holy fuck. And you also have some of the weird demonic kills in the movie. But like, yeah, the story is, if I forgot to mention it, John Jaspers is this painter who's in love with this girl named Blue. She was smuggled overseas. Her smugglers show up, kill her, beat up John Jaspers. John Jaspers is over a bridge, contemplating suicide. M show up with his girlfriend, convinces John Jaspers to make a deal to give him power, which all he does really is give him these like gauntlets where two claws come out. Kind of like Wolverine, but Wolverine obviously doesn't have gauntlets, but you know, it's like Wolverine claws basically. So he goes around killing people for M. Eventually he gets put in an insane asylum. He gets arrested by Jeffrey Combs, put in an insane asylum, and meets Dr. J. Ducombe, who's the love interest in this movie. She's like a psychiatrist who is damaged. She was like sexually abused as a kid, like at 11, which plays later on in the movie, where what happens is like John Jaspers gets killed and comes back to life as Faust with the horrific horror superhero who has this flesh. He has this costume that's very fleshy looking. He has like bat membranes for like a cape. It looks, the demonic transformations, I would say, looks cool. It has this Devilman, Guyver kind of vibe to it, which is pretty sweet. Though I would say he only shows up like 40 minutes into the movie. Well, it's like technically it was 38, but you know, pretty much 40 minutes. Sorry, that was my TV. I turned off and it's dark in here. I'm gonna go to bed after this fucking review. Yeah, so I would say the gore, the action in this movie, though I thought it would be cool if there was more action. It's more to set up the story between M and John Jaspers and the love interests. His love interest, which I like. There's this scene. There's like two scenes. There's sex scenes in this movie. But there's like two scenes where like in the beginning, John Jaspers cucks M, and at the end, M cucks John Jaspers. Which Mark Frost in this movie, his American accent is kind of shitty, but when he goes into like when he plays Faust, he has this like Deadpool, almost Spider-Man, dark Spider-Man kind of humor and catch lines, which is kind of dumb, but okay, whatever. So the story here is there's like a satanic organization run by M who seduce both the girlfriend and Jeffrey Combs, and they have this blood orgy ceremony at the end of the movie. That's pretty cool, where they summon this demon monster, and John Jaspers kills the monster, where they have this really retarded fight scene, which looks super fucking dumb, honestly. And I would say the girlfriend has this knife that M handed to her because he wanted her to kill John Jaspers, and the knife in this movie is the same knife that's in Alec Baldwin's movie The Shadow, which I watched recently. I think it's called the Parba or the Barba. I can't remember. It's like a Buddhist thing. It even has the scary female face on the hilt. So I don't know if you watch if you compare both because the climax of The Shadow has that knife, but sometimes it's CGI, right? But like if you compare the knife from the climax of The Shadow and the knife in this movie, it's the same knife, which is weird because these movies are 5 years. This movie came out in '94, The Shadow, so it's 6 years apart. So I wonder if they got the knife or it's like an homage or something. Who the fuck knows? But basically, I don't know. I think horror fans will like this movie, but if you're a superhero fan, this movie's not good. Like The Crow and Spawn, in my opinion, are better movies, but I don't know. Well, like I think Spawn is better, as in it's more fun, right? Where this is like a horror movie with some superhero aspects. There's like a lot of scenes where like Faust kills cops, which is like, oh my god. Which I wonder, like, cause in the there's a lot of heavy metal imagery in this movie, like in the John Jasper's Resurrection, and the fact that you have like cops getting killed, which it reminds me of that Henry Rollins in the 80s had this band called Black Flag, where I guess it was cool in the 80s for metal people to hate cops for whatever the fuck stupid reason they come up with. So I wonder if there was any connection between Henry Rollins' Black Flag and this comic being out in the like late 80s, if there's like something going on there, but I don't fucking know, dude. Oh my god, I'm just so tired. I should. Why did I feel like I need to review three fucking movies and a comic book the same fucking day? It's like, Jesus Christ. Somebody subscribe to me for this bullshit. I think I deserve it. But yeah, this movie, if I had to give it a rating, it's a 6.5. It's technically a better movie than like Spawn. The best part of this movie is probably the special effects, the fact that Andrew Divoff's performance as M makes up for all the bad acting that surrounds this movie, and the screenplay I thought wasn't bad. Like the dialogue and some of the lines they come up with were pretty good. Yeah, like most of my complaints is that the fact that this wasn't obvious. This obviously wasn't shot in the U.S. and they didn't even think to hire American actors, which was annoying to me because like almost all the fucking actors in this movie are doing like either shitty fucking shitty American accents, or they're like you can straight up hear their foreign accents, or they don't even bother to fucking hide them. And I thought the Sam Roberts looking henchman in the movie was fucking kind of funny. I loved that scene where he dies because I fucking hate Sam Roberts. Sam Roberts is a fucking snake. Oh my god, if people don't know who Sam Roberts is, he's this producer on the Opie and Anthony show. He was able to snake his way to the top. It's like, what a piece of shit. I would say this movie kind of almost reminded me of Devil May Cry, because every time Devil May Cry, you have a fight scene, you get the same song. Like, whenever you fight in Devil May Cry, you get the same, like, heavy metal song or rock song that plays. Here, it's, like, the same thing. Whenever there's, like, an action scene or something exciting, you get the same song that plays. Where, I guess if you only have one good song in your soundtrack, play it as often as you see fit. I don't give a shit. So, I don't know. That's all I have to say. I'll probably review Scary Stories in the Dark tomorrow. Alright, peace.